In 1989, four American soldiers were leaving the American base in Panama to have dinner outside. They encountered a military checkpoint, and the soldiers were asked for their IDs and passes. Anyway, after a few words exchanged here and there, they got into a scuffle and suddenly, the US invaded Panama. I mean, is it logical for one country to invade another because of a scuffle between a few soldiers? What kind of absurdity is this? When we asked why this happened, the US provided the following reasons. Protection of American citizens' lives. Okay, but this isn't logical because this reason alone shouldn't justify a war that kills Americans as well. Defense of democracy and human rights in Panama, which is typical, but it shouldn't lead to a war. Fighting drug trafficking. Of course, crime doesn't justify this, but to arrest a few drug dealers, you invade an entire country? What logic is this? Securing the Panama Canal. You might say, isn't securing a maritime passage worth starting a war? I'd say that the American economy relies heavily on the Panama Canal, so this reason might be enough and logical for a country to invade another. Did you forget the Suez crisis, or what? Are maritime passages that important? If the wars of the 20th century were over oil, then the wars of the 21st century will be over water. This is not my statement. It's the words of Dr. Ismail Sarajeldin, one of the founders of the Modern Library of Alexandria and former vice president of the World Bank. Dr. Ismail's statement is not new. In fact, conflicts over water have recently come onto the radar of the United Nations. For the first time, they were discussed in Security Council sessions in 2021 and started appearing on social media and news channels with headlines about water wars and disputes over its resources and maritime passages. You might ask why. I'd say it's because water is a limited resource, and the need for it is increasing daily with the growing human population, and it has no substitute. Freshwater is used for drinking, agriculture, and our natural uses. And there are also fish, minerals, gas, and oil in the water, which is abundant. But its real importance comes from the use of seas and oceans in transportation and shipping. Shipping is the cheapest form of transportation, so 80% of world trade is carried out by sea. Here, the importance of maritime passages emerges. From what we've covered so far, we can say that any change in the shape and management of water on the map will lead to conflicts and wars. Let's break it down into two parts: wars over water sources and wars over maritime passages. Today, let's focus on the latter and see where these conflicts might go. Pay close attention to what comes next. Get your pen and paper ready, and let's start with the question you might be thinking. What are maritime passages?